How's it going, everybody? If you would for me, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. So, I do have a review for the 2023 remake of The Little Mermaid, Disney's The Little Mermaid, directed by Rob Marshall. And this stars, mess her name up, Haley Bailey, not Holly Berry, not Holly Berry, Haley Bailey. So it's got Haley Bailey, David Diggs, Aquafina's in here too, Javier Bardem, and Melissa McCarthy. So, so if you're like me and you've seen the original Little Mermaid a billion times, like a little backstory, I had a actually we had the I think we still do. We had the VHS, when the really thick, like big, like VHS cases back in the day of the Little Mermaid, Disney's The Little Mermaid, and we also had Hans Christian's Andersen's Little Mermaid as well too. So we watched those a lot, like both of them off and on. I remember the Hans Christian Andersen version being very dark. Is a lot darker than Disney one, so Disney had to sort of lighten up the their version of it for kids. They know kids was watching their version. So that I think the Hans Christian Andersen version came out in the 70s, and Disney updated theirs and it came out 89. 89 is when that one came out. And the thing, I really like the original Little Mermaid. It's a classic. It's a great movie. Like I said, seen it like over a billion times. So I'm gonna try not to compare it too much to the original, although it's gonna be kind of hard to, because this is a remake to the original, especially as a live action remake. Uh, so so if you guys remember the Disney version, basically you have Ariel. Um, she's a teenage girl. I think she's like 13 or 14, or I think is she older than that, or I want to make the prince seem weird. I'm pretty sure her and Prince are from the same age group. So basically, uh, they she basically wants to go to the surface so bad. She's basically one of those princess types that's stuck in her kingdom. She can't go outside. And her dad is telling her, look, everybody that's in the sea under sea or whatever, they're telling her, like, look, those earth dwellers, those are bad people. They're terrible. Look, they start wars, and they pollute the sea, and they mess with the coral reefs and all that stuff. They're horrible. That's what they do. Um, and she so and then this crazy shipwreck or whatever happens, and she meets this guy, and she's like, she's been longing for the longest. Ariel played by Haley Bailey, and she yeah, Holly Bailey, man, she's got to change her name. Holly Bailey. And so she saves this prince from a shipwreck or whatever, and because they're like this violent storm, and the prince is like, man, I gotta meet the girl who saved me. Like, that girl who saved me, that's the one for me right there. That's the one. And and Ariel's like, man, I gotta, I gotta meet him as well too. So she basically consults Ursula, the sea witch, because her dad don't understand. Her dad, King Triton, played by Harvey A. Bardem, he doesn't understand. he doesn't get it, King Triton. So she just goes to Ursula, the Sea Witch, played by Melissa McCarthy, and she's like, see, she gets me. She understands. She'll help me out, and she realizes that her going to the Sea Witch, Ursula. Uh, yeah, she tells her, yeah, you can see that prince or whatever. You can hang out with him, but that comes with a price, a really, a really big price. Um, so I'm not gonna give away too much if you haven't seen the original. Like I said, I've seen it. I've seen this movie so many times. The original, the 1989 one. So, and the Hans Christian Andersen version from the 70s. I've seen that one a lot too. Like I said, we had them both on VHS. Like, so here's my thing. So I really, again, The Little Mermaid is one of my favorite Disney films. I really like that movie a lot. Um, the songs are memorable. The animation's amazing. When I first saw that as a kid, back in the '90s, I I really I really enjoyed it. Not only that, used to go to McDonald's back in the day and get the toys, the Little Mermaid toys. They were showing those over. I had a flounder, so I had a flounder. Fun fact. So I had a flounder that the one you squeeze and then you put them underwater and then you put water in them and you squeeze them. He spits the water out. So so this is how like crazy I am about Little Mermaid. Now, I'm not going to let my bias of Little Mermaid get in the way of the review. So I'll tell you what I do like about this movie. Um, I thought um, Holly Bailey, I thought she was really good as Ariel. Um, the whole controversy that everybody was doing about there being a black Little Mermaid, people need to stop that. I know it's been years, but I don't know why people were doing that because uh like if you listen to the if you remember the lore behind the original Little Mermaid, like the original story, the Brothers Grimm Little Mermaid, she wasn't white neither. She wasn't white nor black, so so you can stop with that. She's a mythological creature, and and even Eric points it out. The prince, Eric, um, I think I think Jonah Hire King plays the prince. Um, that was the original lore behind the mermaid. Was they pull guys in or whatever, they lure them in, they suck their souls or whatever. Uh, so this is the Disney version, so you're not gonna get any of that crazy stuff. This is Disney. Yeah, the Little Mermaid can't be evil in here. I thought everybody did a really good job. Um, I actually like the CG in this movie. The CG in here I thought was really well done. The way it has everybody's hair movements in the water and stuff like that. Um, and my brother pointed out to me because I didn't watch any makings of this or anything like that. That a lot of this was CG, and I didn't realize it, but like I kind of noticed it after a while. I was like, yeah, okay, I can see the CG the way the hair is moving and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. Um, listen, this is basically just this movie was better than what I thought it was going to be. I'll put it like that. It was definitely better than I thought it would be. Especially it being at 2.5 hours. I didn't even realize how long it was. I know it was 2.5 hours long. Uh, so all the actors are good. My issue uh, with it, well, because I will say, because it follows the movie to a T too, which is kind of my issue too. Um, because the thing with this movie is I kind of already seen it before, and the original Little Mermaid it's that by itself is a very good movie. The original Little Mermaid is an amazing film. I thought, and that's another thing I like too. They handled the I thought they handled the music numbers well. They put new music numbers here in here too that wasn't in the original that I didn't recognize when they did it. You know, and it was fine. Uh, the Prince didn't have any musical numbers in the original, and they gave him a couple in here. I was iffy on those. I was like, I was like, okay, those weren't great compared to the other ones. Like Under the Sea, Part of That World, Poor Unfortunate Souls, which was probably my favorite musical in here. That was kind of my favorite song in the original too. The villains, they usually get they give them some really good musical numbers in the originals, but Poor Unfortunate Souls stole it. Um, they cut a scene out in here too, um, and it's the one in the original where the chef is chasing Sebastian around the kitchen and he's trying to cook him. That musical number is out of here. Like they took that out, and I didn't understand why they did that. Um, but I guess it didn't really matter here. Maybe it meant extra fluff or something. I'm not sure. But that is a scene they cut out in here, and a musical too. Uh, so my issue with this movie is the original was just so much better. This just feels like they're rehashing the original, and they made it live action. Not to mention too, uh, I don't know, the animal characters in here I wasn't really cool with. I didn't really like how they looked, and this is where I say with I think I said this with Lilo and Stitch. Now that I think about it, is when you take an animated film and you do something revolutionary with the animated film, and then you try to turn around and make it live action. Because I feel like in some cases where you get away with doing things in animation, you can't do in live action. Um, and the live action comes off way more bland uh, than the animated film. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Um, Flounder, Scuttle, and Sebastian were terrible in this. It was just the way they looked. They were terrible. And I felt like when you put those animals, when you actually make them look like real animals and you try to get some emotion out of them, you don't get the emotion out of those characters. Um, I thought I thought they were the worst parts of the film. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought they were really terrible. I just didn't like the way they were. I didn't like the way they were put in a live action. It's stuff like that that should just stay animated. Because if you watch the original, they had more the way they were animated and put together. They were more emotional or whatever. Um, I did like Javier Bardem in here as King Triton. Um, he wasn't necessarily bad, but again, I think the issue with his character is the same thing as I like you look at the animated King Triton, or you look at the animated Ariel, and I felt like I got more emotion out of those characters than I did out of these characters. Although I'm not saying they weren't putting any emotion towards it, they were, but that's why I say I think the original was better than this one. Uh, it just seemed like it was so much better animation. Uh, what else I was gonna say too? I was gonna say something else, and I forgot what I was gonna say too. Oh yeah, yeah. So, uh, and this so it was just a little weird. I'm not saying it was a big deal, but it was just something I noticed in the movie too, and it was a little weird. So they're touting in this movie that, well, we're gonna make the Little Mermaid black. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. There's people who had issue with it. I didn't have an issue. It was like, okay, it is what it is. Um, so in the movie, they do something so weird in here, and maybe maybe it's just me. So in the movie, so Prince Eric from the original, of course, he's white. Um, but they made so in the original, I think the queen, his mom was white too. But in this movie, for some bizarre reason, they made her black. She's like black. So I'm watching like, so how's your mom black and you're white? That's weird. And then he hints towards it that he was adopted. He wasn't born into that life. And I was like, that doesn't even make sense. So, because if you're like, you're white, but your mother's black, but she adopted you. And I was like, why didn't you just make him black? That, I don't know, it was just weird to me. And I just feel like Disney has this streak of not making their princes black. And don't give me the prince that's in Prince and the Frog. He's not black, y'all. Stop. He's not. I can already see the comments coming down that he is black. He's like, well, what about the guy for Princess and Frog? That's a white dude with a deep tan. He's not black. So, uh, I've seen if you've seen the Voodoo Priest's guy, the Voodoo Priest dude in there, you see how they do black characters. He wasn't black. That was a white dude with a tan. Yeah, I just thought that was just a bizarre thing for them to do when in the Disney princesses they're trying to push diversity. I just thought that was just tasteless. It was a little, I want to say tasteless, maybe that's a little too far, but it was a little weird. Um and it was glaring, and then it was the fact they kept showing it too. It was even more glaring. I was like, this doesn't even go together. Um but otherwise, I mean, it's still a good movie. It was better than we thought it was gonna be. I'm gonna go moderate. I'm gonna go moderate on this one. It's a moderate recommend. Uh, like I said, amidst all the problems I had, I did ultimately enjoy the movie. So I go like, well, moderate. That means you thought it was alright. You thought it was average. Yeah, I mean, I think you should watch it. It's a good movie, and I thought the original musical numbers, they handled them pretty well too. So, especially if you've seen um, the original Little Mermaid. So, um, that's my review for Little Mermaid 2023. Tell me what you thought about it in the comment section. And as usual, like, comment, subscribe again, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.